Let's touch on some news to sort of kick things off here on the episode. We wanted to talk about some things globally. We didn't get the opportunity to react to them or touch on them. And this is a good time for us to sort of not only play catch up, but get each other's thoughts on these bits of news and get the chat and the thoughts and the on YouTube here. So let's start with Barcelona because talk about like an up and down kind of pendulum swing here. There was a bit of news where Barcelona's epic 62 game winning streak in La Liga ended by Sevilla. So it was a big thing because that's an incredible streak. 62 games. But it was brief. It was brief. It was a real moment where it was just like, wow, that sucks. But it's also like, let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate that incredible run. Unclear on TBD if that sort of streak will ever be touched or matched
Yeah.
again, because I mean, my God, that is an incredibly long streak. But no time for tears because they had to go and win the league, and they went ahead and they done that just shortly after that quick little that little hurdle. But I mean, you know what it means. I think if you're the opposition as well, I think in that sense you're also sort of etched in Spanish soccer history, where you could sort of say, hey, maybe we're not contenders for the league title right now, but what we did do this season? We ended Barcelona's winning streak.
Yeah, I mean, and when you look at how it happened, right? Sevilla is second half of the table, right?
Yeah.
in this league. They've struggled to pick up points. They only have 9 wins on the season, whereas
Yeah.
Barcelona 28 wins. That one draw, of course, 100 and 17 goals scored by Barcelona this year. I think for Sevilla, you're for sure excited about that. Because you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we held them scoreless. No one has
Never
been able to do that.
never was there a happier draw.
Yeah, seriously. But Barcelona does go on to win it anyway. And then they ended up having their giant parade in the streets of Barcelona.
Love it.
Pretty fantastic to see. We've got pictures
Love that.
if you're joining us live on YouTube. I mean, what a party. How fun is this?
I mean, who wouldn't want to be there? Look at all the players having a good
Seriously.
time. Congratulations in order to Barcelona for keeping up the dominance, honestly. And that's not easy either. I think maybe perhaps for like neutral fans, like the whole concept of a big threatening team on a ridiculous streak, constantly winning, perhaps for the neutral can get kind of repetitive or boring even. But I think you got to celebrate this kind of stuff because you don't often, I think, see it in women's sports. And I think when you have a group or a team kind of go on these incredible runs, it's meant to be celebrated. So congrats in order to them, and we wanted to definitely touch on that and react to that for a little bit. In Spain, let's pivot to England. Talk about England a little bit. Chelsea winning the FA Cup recently in front of an incredible crowd, 77,339 in the stands. What a scene. World record crowd for a women's domestic match. Emma Hayes dedicating the FA Cup victory to the fans. Sam Kerr with the backflip. A lot of good. Again, we're talking about scenes. Really good stuff here for Chelsea.
Yeah, this is like truly incredible to watch how this kind of all played out for this team and for everything. I mean, I want to talk a little bit about, Sandra, just for a second, the crowd, because a world record 77,390 fans in attendance for this final match. Chelsea, Man United, of course, it was a good game. Of course, there was a lot there to go into it, but don't say that no one watches women's sports. And I mean, we're preaching to the choir on this show because you're obviously here because you're into women's football. But truly fantastic to see that all these people came out and showed up. And I think this is like, we just talked about Barcelona, and Barcelona is a team that's headed on to the UEFA Champions League final. Unfortunately, Chelsea not there at this point, but that I think that like this is the time, like in the months leading up to the World Cup, where it's this match for Chelsea in the FA Women's Cup against Manchester United, the UEFA Champions League, and all the NWSL attendances that we're seeing across the board. Like, this is it. Finally, people are showing up and giving the support. And of course, in this match, as you mentioned, Sam Kerr in the 60th minute, getting the game winner, the celebration of a backflip. It's fantastic. It was so good to see. I mean, she is just so impressive to watch. It is so fun to watch her, and people get to then watch her again at the World Cup with Australia, and that's something pretty cool as well. It's all these like little moments that are building up to this incredible summer of football that we have.
Yeah, that's kind of the energy, right? I think that a lot of us were taking away from the sights and the sounds of an event like that. We were just like, gosh, it's just going to get better,
Mm-hmm.
like from here on out, especially, I mean, we're talking about Sam Kerr in Australia, one of the home countries, and she's maybe trying to practice, we'll see. Maybe she's getting those the backflip practices in before she has to put on a jersey with Matildas and go do some special things there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it for sure. Let's close out the news segment and pivot to France. Olympique Lyon winning their 10th Coupe de France after defeating Paris Saint-Germain 2-1. We just started this segment talking about Sevilla and the draw that they had with Barcelona, and that just being a very brief moment in time before Barcelona went on to keep winning. And now we've got Lyon, another, maybe we could look at a different country in a different league and say this is a team that has typically dominated French football for quite some time. Although PSG might have some things to say about that, right? But congratulations to them. 10th Coupe de France.
Yeah, incredible. It really good stuff from these players. A brace from Ada Hedberg for OL to get the win over PSG in this one. So Lindsay Horan, of course, a U.S. international midfielder playing on Lyon and lifting that trophy as well. This is like such a fun time of soccer because like everyone's lifting these trophies. It's the time for celebrations. We saw the parade from Barca, and now Lyon gets to join in the celebrations. Really tremendous to see kind of all these things coming together. Really big win for Lyon. I know PSG fans not too a little bitter in their mouth after that one.
Listen, there's still a couple games left in the league,
Yeah.
so maybe they'll have their say, on that final stamp. They'll need some help. They'll not only will they need to win, because right now it's of course OL at 1 and PSG at 2, 3 points separating these two teams in the standings. So PSG will not only need to get the job done on their end and win some games, but Lyon will have to maybe drop some points along the way. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll have a different news and notes segment, and we'll be talking about PSG winning another title of their own. But let's close out with some NWSL news. We wanted to touch about another epic crowd. We were just talking about the FA Cup, but coming out of week 7, in the midst of the ongoing regular season, Kansas City Current making and setting a new home record of 12,969,000 fans in attendance. You love to see it. Unfortunately, we had recapped this game. They had dropped the result to San Diego. It was a 2-1 loss. But maybe they're looking at this as a little bit of a different win for the Current. They're doing this in Children's Mercy Park. They're the home of Sporting KC. So I'm sure they'll like to try to ride this type of momentum and this type of energy and enthusiasm into their home stadium when they eventually have their first home game there.
For sure. Yeah. This record of over 12,000, nearly 13,000 fans, smashed the record that was before it, about 10,300 fans. That was in 2022 against Angel City. This one for KC at home on Mother's Day. This was the Sunday match for the KC Current against San Diego. And the fact that, as you just touched on, Sandra, the Current's able to do this in Children's Mercy Park, which is SKC's home field, when they have their very own facility being built on the riverfront. I had the pleasure of being in Kansas City last week, and the stadium is there. Like, it looks like a stadium. The seats are in, the steel beams are up, and they've got a stadium coming right on the riverfront. It is gorgeous, and that's what this team hopes to do. They're trying to pack Children's Mercy Park this year. That way they can just pack the riverfront when it opens at the start of next year. And all those fans are already invested in this team. So if you haven't been yet to a home NWSL game, no matter where you are in the country, get out there. There's plenty of opportunities. We got regular season, Challenge Cup action, midweek action, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever you want. There's a game for you out there. So go buy tickets and be there, because that's how you support the team, and that's how you support the future of this league and the continued growth of it. Get out to a game for sure. It's fun to see.
Hashtag go to games. The go to games contingent is stronger than ever. So go to them if you get a chance.